Hello plant tribe, and how is everyone doing today? I hope you are fantastic. I am fantastic. It is a gorgeous day outside, so gorgeous in fact that I'm inside because it's too hot. I don't do too hot. I don't do too cold. I need to find a place with just a moderate temperature that's nice all the time. If you know a place like that, hook a gal up. Anyways, for those of you who are new, hello, hi, my name is Nikki. This is my channel, Plants, Pots, and Whatnots. And for you gluttons for punishment who keep on coming back for more, it is amazing to see you. Thank you so much for coming back. So, today's video was voted on by you guys. I asked a poll on Instagram whether you would want to see how I keep up with my 250 houseplants or some other video that I can't recall, and this one won by a landslide. So that is what we're gonna go ahead and do today. If that sounds like something that you would like to stick around and watch, then please stick around and watch and allow me to share with you my tips and tricks on how to keep up with this craziness. Okay, so I'm just gonna jump right in here and I'm gonna try not to make this video excruciatingly long as I do, but I'm not gonna make any promises. So let's just jump right in. So tip number one, and I think this is one of the most important tips, and it kind of like dives into each other tip, if that makes any sense. So my number one tip for you is don't stress yourself out about anything. Houseplants are supposed to be a fun hobby, something to you know, get you relaxed, keep you zen, you know, and centered. It gives you something to care for and nurture, and you know, as humans, that is something that we typically enjoy. We like to take care of things and make, you know, see things grow and make them flourish, and you know, makes us feel like gods or something. I don't know. Anyways, so it's not supposed to be a stressful thing. So try not to stress. So that kind of breaks down into all of the little side tips about things that hopefully will make you not stress. So one of the number one things people stress out about is pests. Now I totally get this. Back in the beginning of my plant ventures, I used to get really freaked out about the thought of having some sort of pest on my plant just like wigged me right out. And you know, if I saw anything on my plant, I went into this panic. And at that point, you get super paranoid. You're like dousing your plants in chemicals, trying to get rid of it. Next thing you know, you've killed everything because you've overdosed them in chemicals, and it's just more stress. So my tip for you as far as pests go, and try to de-stress the whole pest thing, is to remember that it's not the end of the world if you get a pest. If you have houseplants, especially if you have a substantial plant collection, you're going to get pests. So you need to get comfortable with that thought. There will be pests in your home, whether you see them or not, they will be there. Now, it's not about complete elimination of all pests on your plants. It's about maintaining a happy medium. It's about minimizing the amount of pests that you have on your plants or in your home, such as fungus gnats, mealybugs, thrips, aphids, whiteflies, all of which I have experienced. Oh, spider mites. I know. Ugh. Anyways, I have experienced all of these things in my home at one point or another. And you know what? I still have most of my plants. I didn't lose anything expensive, anything that couldn't be easily replaced. And that was back in the beginning when I really didn't know a whole lot about what to look for. I didn't actually know that checking your plants frequently, which is my next tip, really helps to maintain a happy balance of, you know, pests you might get on your plants and complete and total chaos, and them eating all of your plants that you paid money for and nurtured and grew from just a tiny little sprout. Anyway, so my biggest tip for you as far as that goes is check your plants frequently. My best suggestion is to check your plants when you water them. You're already going around plant by plant. When you water that plant, just kind of flip over a few leaves. It's pretty likely that if there's anything on there, that you'll probably spot it, especially if it's something that you really need to jump on immediately. You're going to spot like, you know, some webbing or some spotting on the leaves, which typically indicates thrips. Well, it could indicate other things, but that's one of the main things that thrips will show up as at first. You know, so it doesn't have to be a whole separate affair. Just check your plants, flip over some leaves. When you're watering them, you're already at your plant anyway, and it just makes the whole process easier. You're not duplicating work. And checking your plants on a frequent basis is going to vastly decrease the amount of issues that you have, because you're going to catch it right off the hop, because most of us are watering, especially this time of year, are watering their plants once a week. So when you're watering your plants once a week, you're checking your plants for pests once a week, and if there's a problem, you're going to catch it before it spreads to every other plant in your entire house. So that is my next tip for you, is to check for pests when you water as frequently as possible, but definitely check them. Okay, moving along to the next tip. My next tip is all about watering. I know that's one of the things that a lot of people stress out about, especially when your plant collection becomes substantial. I think anything over about 50 plants and it starts to become a lot to manage as far as watering is concerned. So what I do to help alleviate a little bit of that watering stress is I use filtered water for all of my plants. So I keep those little juice jugs and I fill them all up with my filtered water from my Brita, and I store them on the bottom of one of my shelves. And then on watering day, it's all there for me. It's all room temperature. I add whatever nutrients or fertilizer that I need, and I just go around and I water all my plants, and then I fill them up, and so on and so forth. Now, in regards to watering, you don't have to water all in one day, especially if you have a really large collection. Break it up into sections of your house. You know, say today I'm going to water the plants in the living room. Tomorrow, or whenever you have time again, I'm going to water the plants in the bedroom or in the bathroom or in the kitchen or wherever you keep plants. So break it up into sections that are manageable for you. They don't all need to be done one day. And which kind of leads me into my next one. If you don't feel like watering that day or doing anything with your plants that day, then don't. They will go an extra day or two or a week, depending on the plant, without water, and they'll be okay. I promise you. Use a moisture meter. That's another thing. Use a moisture meter. I implore you. I mean, I know my plants pretty well. There's some plants that I've had in my collection for a substantial amount of time, and I still use a moisture meter on those, especially when you're paying higher prices for some of these uncommon, trendy plants. You know, they're not easy to get your hands on again, so why would you risk that? Don't risk that. Stick your moisture meter down in there, check and make sure it needs water. Basically, the rule of thumb I go by is anything less than a 3 or less on my moisture meter gets water across the board. And that has worked amazingly well for me. I don't have any plants that are overwatered. I don't have any plants that are underwatered. And anyway, it works great. But anyway, I kind of jumped a little bit. But anyways, don't stress yourself out if you just don't feel like doing the watering today. They will be fine. They will live to see another day. Or if you just feel like watering a couple, then do that. Don't make it a thing that, oh my gosh, I didn't water today. I feel like a horrible plant mom, plant dad, plant parent. My plants are gonna die and I might as well just quit. Don't think that way, because your plants will be fine. They will be, I promise. Okay, that kind of got all over the place. Okay, moving on to the next tip. So one of the things that I think was a great, huge, humongous help to me, especially in the beginning of my plant parenthood, was using Terra Cotta for the majority of my plants. Using Terra Cotta gives you a lot of control. I like a little bit of control. I'm sure my family will tell you that. Like, I'm not that bad. Anyways. So Terra Cotta wicks water and moisture away from the soil more quickly than glass, ceramic, what else? Plastic, definitely plastic. So if in the beginning, until you really get a handle on you know, your different plants and how this one responds and how this one responds and when this one needs water and when that one needs water, using Terra Cotta is a real method of control, because put your plant in Terra Cotta, check it every few days, and then you'll start to get a handle, but it won't stay wet for too long. Am I even making sense? Anyway, Terra Cotta gives you control. I guess this whole thing is just about, like, especially if you're a person that tends to overcare for your plants or overwater your plants, I highly recommend using Terra Cotta, because it does. It gives you that control. It dries out much more quickly, and then you have more control over when those roots receive more moisture, if that makes any sense. So, first time plant parents, use Terra Cotta. I think it's a great option until you really get a handle on your plants and what their needs are. I don't know if that made any sense. Anyway, moving on to the next topic. So I kind of want to step back a little bit to our pest talk. One of the major things that I did not do in the beginning that I really wish I had of, and I think I just I'm an eternal optimist. Everything will be okay. Everything will be fine. I won't get pests. I won't get root rot. Boy, was I wrong. So when you bring any plant home, I don't care where you get it. If you get it from the most reputable nursery on the planet, if you pick it up at some rando corner store, or even if you get plants shipped to you in the mail, I implore you, don't just segregate the plant and figure out later if it has a problem, because at that point it already has a problem, so that plant could decline in that time period. Also, there are pests that fly. So if you bring a plant home, you quarantine that plant, it has white flies and you don't happen to see them, it doesn't matter whether that plant isn't on the same shelf as your other ones. Those white flies fly. And then your other plants are gonna get white flies. Do you see what I'm saying? Anyway, so my recommendation, every time you bring a plant home, no matter where it comes from, treat it. So as soon as I bring a plant home, I spray the crap out of it, make sure I get the soil, make sure I get top and bottom leaves, all the stems, all the petioles, leave it in the sink to dry, and then you can just go ahead and put it on your shelf. Then you don't have to worry about having this whole separate area to quarantine new plants. That whole quarantine thing never really made sense to me, specifically for the reason that there are pests that fly or jump or walk. Anyways, so treat your plants as soon as you get them home, regardless of where you get them from, and that's going to eliminate a crap ton of issues in the future. Okay, moving on to the next one. Okay, and my second last tip for you, I think, is one that I wish somebody had have like slapped into me in the beginning, and it's know your limits. It is really easy when you first get into plants and you just have a couple, and then you get that bug and you're like, I need more, and I need that one, and I need that one, and I always refer to them as Pokemon because, like, you want all of them. Realistically, you can't have all of them. You just can't. And your wallet doesn't want you to. So back in the beginning, anytime I went anywhere that had plants, I would find plants that I didn't have, obviously. So I would just buy everything. And not only did I spend too much money, but I just very quickly was just overwhelmed by the amount of plants that I had, that I didn't take enough time to learn about the plants that I was bringing into my house, before I bought another one. So when you're out buying plants, as exciting as it is, and I know this is so much easier said than done, because I know if I was sitting where you are and somebody was saying to me like, know your limits, Nikki, just buy one at a time, wait a few weeks, get to know that plant, and then buy another one, I'd be like, you're not the boss of me. Anyway, but it's definitely a tip that I wish somebody had slapped into me early in my plant parenthood craziness. Yes, I do have a lot of plants right now, but those plants that I have right now are plants that I really, really enjoy. They're not just some rando plant that I found because I don't have that one, so I bought it. And I think there's a difference there. Find out what you like, find out the species of plants that you like, find out the type of care that you can provide that plant. And I think that's another thing too, is really know your home, know your lighting situation. There are lots of plants out there that we would absolutely love to have, but we just can't because we don't have what that plant requires. So know your home, know what you're capable of providing these plants. If you work full-time, have 3 children, you know, have pets, a spouse, you know, if you have other extracurriculars, all of these things are time that should be spent on those things and not so much on your plants. And the more plants that you get, the more time you have to spend on your plants, and it takes away from family, it takes away from work, and all of that. So just know your limits, know what you're capable of, know what you can provide those plants that you're bringing into your home, and spend within your means, if that all makes sense to you. And the very last tip is a little bit more fun, and this is something that I have learned more and more, and especially recently. Make plant friends. I know the majority of us don't have family that are as into plants as we do. If you're one of those special people who have a spouse or a roommate who really, really loves plants too, then you are so blessed, but not all of us do. Now, that's not to say that our, you know, loved ones won't get into plants or, you know, support your plant insanity. Jordan really didn't care for plants when I first started collecting plants. I say plants way too many times, didn't I? When I first started collecting the green things that are around my house, he didn't really, he was like, whatever, it's a plant. But now he's kind of getting into it. Like, he will come home from work, or he'll wake up in the morning and he kind of wanders around and sees what leaves are new, and oh my gosh, is that Hoya blooming today? Or, you know, and it's kind of nice. But when I want to talk about plants the way I do, he's just like, so making friends that have the same passions as you do, whether it's plants or anything else, if you like to collect stamps or spoons or weird cat ceramics, then find other people that share the same passions as you do. I found Paula, and it was so funny because I actually found Paula because she had an ad on Garage Sale, and she had these couple plants, and I was like, I really like those. And then after we got talking about these plants, we went and I picked them up from her. Actually, Jordan picked them up from her, and then we got talking more after that, and you know, it has turned into this amazing friendship. And any time that I you know, get a new plant or there's something exciting with plants, you know, I always share that with Paula, and she gets my excitement. She understands because she's the same way. And I have started talking to so many other people that I would have never spoken to otherwise. And it has been the most amazing experience. Not only are you able to talk to people that share that same passion for what you love, but the other cool part about that is you're able to trade plants with them. I can't tell you how many plants. Actually, I have 2 really cool collab plant swaps coming up here with 2 new people that I've just met recently. They're actually YouTubers here in Ontario, or they're in Canada. And I am so excited, and because there's not a whole lot of us up here in Canada, so it was really cool for them to reach out and you know, start that conversation. I'm usually pretty like shy about reaching out first and starting a conversation. So if any of you have been thinking about messaging me, please do it, because I know that I'm like, I know I don't seem like that, but I kind of am. Anyway. So anyways, make plant friends online, plant friends IRL, and you will not be disappointed. It opened a whole new world to me that I didn't know existed, and I am so incredibly grateful for that. So that pretty much wraps up all my tips. I know it was a little scattered and all over the place, but those are the things that I think has had the most impact on my ability to be able to have a plant collection like this and to get more into the community and not be as stressed out. So even when I was working full time, I kind of got to a point where things were manageable for me. And working 45 to 55, sometimes more hours a week, and taking care of 250 plants, you would think would be like, oh my God. But I had it down so that I wasn't stressed out, and it just worked. So do what you need to do to take care of your plants. Remember, these are living things that you're bringing into your home, and you need to do what's best for them. It's like a pet, if that, I know it's a little bit different, but you know where I'm going with that. We need to provide for them what they need, and you know, to the point where you don't stress yourself out too. So anyway, I know. Okay, I will go ahead and wrap it up. I hope that some of those tips helped you out. If you have any questions, anything that I didn't mention that you really think is a great tip, please go ahead and throw it down in the comments. It really helps, and I know I'm losing my voice. That's not good. It really helps other people, and I know a lot of people will read through all the comments. So if you put things down there, things that I may not have mentioned that you have done that really helps you with your plant collection, I think that's a really great thing for myself and for others to see, and other tips and tricks are always welcome. So go ahead and do that. I will cut this off here because, as you know, I can ramble forever. So thank you guys so much for liking and watching and commenting and subscribing. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so. It is a huge help to my channel. I plan on doing a giveaway at 5,000 subscribers. I know I just broke 4,000 like a week or so ago, but that is my next big goal. So once I hit 5,000 subscribers, I'm gonna do a giveaway. To me, that's a bit of a milestone. I think 5K is a pretty decent milestone, and especially I've only been doing this just over a year, so I'm pretty proud of you guys, and I'm proud of myself for all coming together and making this channel what it has turned into, and I'm so happy about that. So I definitely want to be able to share that with you when I hit 5K, because I'm really excited. Anyways, so again, I will stop rambling. I would like all of you to have a wonderful, amazing, great day, night, week, month, and year. I love you all the bitty bits, and I will see you in the next one. Mwah! So if that sounds like you with something, if that crap, night,